Think you know airports? What if I told you that behind the gates, hidden in plain sight, thousands of guns are confiscated every year, families live for months without leaving, and extreme heat can literally ground planes? How safe, strange, or even magical are these spaces really? Stick around and don't forget to subscribe. You won't believe what we uncover next. Number 10. Thousands of guns at checkpoints. Airports are supposed to be safe places, right? Surprisingly, every year, thousands of firearms are discovered in carry-on bags at airports across the United States. In 2022, the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, intercepted 6,542 guns, and more than 88% of them were loaded. People often claim they forgot their weapons were in their luggage, but intent or not, this is a serious matter. Violators can face fines up to $15,000 and lose TSA pre-check privileges. It really makes you think twice before tossing something into your bag without checking first. Number 9. Baggage handler steals a plane. In August 2018, an unusual airport incident shook the world. A 28-year-old baggage handler at Horizon Air, with zero formal pilot training, somehow taxied and took off in a commercial plane. He spent over an hour performing acrobatic stunts, including a barrel roll, before crashing into a wooded area off the Washington coast. Even two F-15 jets scrambled to intercept him. Authorities later confirmed it was not terrorism, but this daring act exposed serious security flaws. Airports are supposed to keep travelers safe, yet here we were witnessing one man take off with a fully loaded aircraft. Number 8. Drones shut down airports. Drones have become a modern headache for airports. In December 2018, Gatwick Airport in England was completely shut down for nearly 2 days due to repeated drone sightings. Over 120,000 passengers were stranded, and more than 1,000 flights were canceled or delayed. Investigators later found the drones had been modified to stay airborne longer than normal. Since then, airports around the world have been installing detection systems and experimenting with electronic fences. But this ongoing cat-and-mouse game shows that technology can be both a help and a huge disruption. Number 7. Turtle migration stops flights. Sometimes nature reminds airports who is really in charge. At JFK International Airport in New York, diamondback terrapins crawl out of Jamaica Bay every summer to lay eggs on the warm sand near runway 4 left. This seasonal migration has forced flights to delay and runways to close for hours, while crews carefully relocate dozens of turtles to safety. Low barriers and wildlife fencing were later installed to reduce these incidents, but it still happens every nesting season. It's fascinating to think that flights can be held back by creatures smaller than a football, reminding us that airports share space with the world around them. And even the smallest animals can disrupt massive human operations, creating a unique balance between nature and technology. Number 6. Falcons and dogs keep airports safe. Airports don't just rely on technology to stay safe. Sometimes animals do the job better. Vancouver International Airport, for example, uses trained falcons and hawks to chase flocks of geese away from the runways. Other airports rely on specially trained dogs to patrol the airfield and scare off birds that might interfere with planes. These programs have been incredibly effective, keeping millions of birds away from aircraft each year. The visual of majestic birds soaring over the runway to save us from disaster is strangely satisfying, and it highlights a clever and unexpected way airports keep passengers safe. Number 5. Airport therapy animals. Traveling can be stressful, but airports are finding ways to calm anxious travelers. Denver International Airport holds the Guinness World Record for the largest airport therapy animal program, featuring 87 owner and pet teams. These dogs, dressed in blue plaid vests, roam concourses offering pats and comfort to travelers. The program has become so popular that it inspired similar initiatives at airports in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Miami. While not all airports have therapy dogs, it's amazing to think that amidst delays, turbulence, and chaos, some furry friends are there to help lift spirits. Number 4. People living in airports. Airports are usually temporary spaces, but for some, they become home. The most famous case is Mehran Karimi Nasseri, an Iranian refugee who lived at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport for 18 years, inspiring the film The Terminal. Others have endured months or even years in airports while awaiting asylum or paperwork, such as families in Moscow and Manchester. They survived on donated food, sporadic assistance from travelers, and improvised accommodations, living in disused areas of terminals, including unused lounges or storage spaces. These stories are emotional reminders of how airports can unexpectedly become the center of someone's entire life and struggles, far beyond travel and convenience, showing the deep human resilience that can emerge even in transit zones. Number 3. Singapore Changi's Butterfly Garden and Waterfalls. Some airports go far beyond being functional spaces. Singapore Changi Airport is legendary, offering travelers a tropical butterfly garden, a 6-meter waterfall, a rooftop swimming pool, and even a slide that lets passengers reach baggage claim in style. There are movie theaters, sunflower gardens, interactive exhibits, and Harry Potter displays scattered throughout the terminals. People actually plan longer layovers just to explore this airport, snapping pictures and enjoying experiences that feel more like a vacation than a transit stop. The vibrant combination of nature, leisure, entertainment, and thoughtful architecture transforms a simple transit point into an unforgettable, almost magical experience, showing that airports can also be places of joy, wonder, and creativity, not just stress and waiting. Number 2. Airports are job machines. Airports are not just about airplanes, they're economic engines. Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport alone employs more than 63,000 people daily, including pilots, gate agents, janitors, cooks, and customs officers. Add in the ripple effect from hotels, restaurants, logistics companies, and taxi services, and the number of jobs tied to the airport rises to nearly 250,000. Airports function almost like small cities with their own police, fire departments, transit systems, and emergency medical teams. Every delayed flight or closed terminal doesn't just inconvenience travelers. It impacts thousands of livelihoods, disrupts local businesses, and even affects regional economies, demonstrating how the functioning of airports is deeply interconnected with the surrounding communities and national infrastructure. Number 1. Extreme heat can ground planes. Sometimes weather can make airports powerless. In June 2017, Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport experienced a scorching temperature of 118 degrees Fahrenheit. The air became too thin for some planes, particularly smaller jets like Bombardier CRJs, to generate enough lift to take off. As a result, dozens of flights were canceled, delayed, or had to reduce their passenger loads. This phenomenon, called high-density altitude, happens in other hot cities like Dubai, Las Vegas, and Delhi, and it has contributed to more than 7% of weather-related aviation incidents in the United States. Even the most advanced technology, experienced pilots, and careful planning have their limits when nature intervenes, reminding everyone that the sky is not entirely under human control. Conclusion. Airports are more than terminals and runways. They are hubs of chaos, innovation, nature, and human drama. From daring baggage handlers to stranded turtles, therapy dogs, and massive economic impacts, these fascinating stories reveal a hidden world that passengers rarely notice. The next time you pass through security, take a moment to appreciate the extraordinary universe that exists behind the gates.